Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Lil Modern Mama. My name is Ashley. If you are here for the first time, welcome. So glad to have you. Definitely, if you enjoy the video today, hit subscribe so you can follow us on our journey, and hit the alerts button so you know when we post new material. Give us a good thumbs up if you like what we have here so we know to keep creating content like this. Today, we are actually going to be doing a review on the anti-nausea medication called Diclegis. And little background on my story. My first pregnancy, I didn't have very much nausea or vomiting at all, and so I didn't think during my second pregnancy that would be an issue, but it was. It became so bad that I had to take time off of work. I also had a pelvic floor issue, so I had a very weak pelvic floor, which means that, you know, when you vomit, you tinkle a little or a lot, or like flood the bathroom. So I had to find a solution, and I had tried Unisom and B6 before, and it didn't really work for me. I couldn't get the dosage right. It was not good. And Unisom on itself gave me weird dreams, so I just didn't know what to do. So I talked to my doctor about it, and she recommended that I try Diclegis. And she was very strict with me about how I should take it. So I listened to her, and I was like, all right, well, cool, whatever. Finally got the stuff, and I did some review on it research before I went ahead and started trying it. And what I found in my research was there were a lot of people saying they didn't like it because it just didn't work for them. But I noticed that a lot of the people that I had heard from, saw, watched, read about, didn't take it for very long. They took it for a day or two and then stopped because it just wasn't working. So I read the directions again, what my doctor had recommended to me. She said to take it 2 pills a day at night for 3 to 5 days, and then if it doesn't work, then to switch it up and do 1 pill at night, 1 pill in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. If that's not working for you, then do 2 at night, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. Just kind of alternate it to see, and usually spend like 3 to 5 days trying each of those until you finally feel relief. Now, my thought was, if I tried something for 5 days and it didn't work, and then I tried it again for 5 and it didn't work, and again for 5 and it didn't work, then I could definitely stop. 15 days of trying something and not having it work, that's a lot of time. But if it took 15 days for me to find something that worked and I didn't have to be nauseous for the rest of my pregnancy or the rest of my first trimester, then 15 days was worth it. So I started out with the original dosage, which was 2 pills at night before bed on an empty stomach. And the first night I went to bed just fine. The next morning I woke up, I was still nauseous, and I still threw up several times. The next day I took it again, not really seeing results yet. But the next morning I woke up and I was a little less nauseous, and I only threw up like 2 or 3 times. So that was progress. Third day, I threw up once or twice and was nauseous a little. Fourth day, I didn't throw up at all, but I was nauseous. And the 5th day, I had some nausea here and there, but it wasn't all day, and it was just a couple times, and it was fine. So at the end of it, I kind of thought to myself, okay, well, this seems to be working. Now, typically in a pregnancy, after the 12th week, you start to see nausea and vomiting kind of dissipate. It's typical, but it's not every single case. Your nausea and vomiting could go on for multiple weeks after that, or could continue in through your entire pregnancy, depending on who you are and what your pregnancy's like. So I continued taking the Diclegis until I was about, I'd say 14 weeks along, and I'd gone a whole week without having any symptoms whatsoever. I felt great, and I could actually eat, which was a big benefit to me because I hadn't really been eating much this whole time. So after that, I decided I was going to see how to get off of it, because I had heard other horror stories from people saying if you just stop it cold turkey, you are going to vomit until you die. Not really, but it's gonna feel like it. So I did some research on that, and I talked to my doctor and asked what I should do, and all of what I researched and what she said was to cut down your intake in half and do that for 5 days, and then if you make it through the 5 days just fine, then you can go ahead and stop. And so that's what I did. Those 5 days where it was just one pill at night before bed, there were some interesting moments where I was a little bit nauseous, not too nauseous, but just a little bit more than I had been, or where my appetite kind of decreased a bit. And then after the 5 days, I went ahead and stopped completely. And I do still have, I'm almost 17 weeks now, or by the time I get this out, it will be 17 weeks. But there was still some nausea, no vomiting whatsoever, and a little loss in appetite, but it seems to be coming back now. So my recommendation is, yes, if you are that sick and you cannot hold food down and you are vomiting everywhere, and it's causing effects on like your life at home or your work life, or causing you to just be in pain all the time, definitely look into it. Another thing, if you are going to the hospital for like instant relief, they might prescribe you Zofran. In California, they say that it's not recommended to take that long term. I don't know about other states. I don't know about other areas. I just know that it wasn't recommended for us to take it long term, just for emergency use only, which makes sense because when you are going to the hospital because you can't hold food down and you're dehydrated and life sucks, you want something that's instantaneous, not something that's going to take 5 days to actually go into effect. So those would be my suggestions. That is my review. Overall, I think Diclegis worked well. It worked great. It did what it said it was going to do. And I would recommend it to anyone that is going through this, but I would recommend that you follow the dosage just the way it says for as long as it says, and continue communication with your doctor while you're taking it, because I think those things are very, very important. And I would much rather be nauseous for 5 days than be nauseous for my whole pregnancy or a portion of my pregnancy and not have the relief that I'm looking for. So I hope this is helpful for anyone out there who is struggling with morning sickness. And as always, I hope you're doing great, or at least better now that you have some relief. And let's keep parenting together.